What would you do if the life you meticulously rebuilt, the peace you fought to earn, was suddenly threatened by the reappearance of the very person whose absence had been your biggest worry? What if the path you chose for your family was about to be derailed by a ghost from your past, standing right in front of you in a dusty roadside shop? Jack and Tu Tien stand amidst the skeletal remains of their farmhouse construction. The air is thick with the scent of sawdust and the oppressive heat of a mountain summer. They are just trying to build a future, but the silence from the man they owe everything to, Mr. Phuong, has left a void that is growing impossible to ignore. They don't know it yet, but the next few minutes are about to shatter their fragile tranquility, forcing a confrontation that will test the very foundation of their new life. "It's going to be scorching today," Jack mutters, wiping sweat from his brow. He looks at the raw, uneven earth where they plan to build their home. "If we level this out now and let it settle, we can pour the concrete later. It'll be clean, solid." Tu Tien nods, her eyes reflecting a quiet contentment that wasn't there months ago. Living in a wooden house is different, Jack. It breathes. Even in this heat, it feels cooler than the concrete boxes we once knew. Jack takes a pineapple slice from her hand. He watches her. She's thinner, perhaps, but her spirit is sharper, more vibrant. "You've been working too hard, Tu Tien. You need to rest. I'll finish this section myself. I'm not tired," she insists, though her gaze softens. "We're in this together. And Jack, about your father, have you heard anything?" The mention of Mr. Phuong causes Jack to stiffen. "I've tried calling. No answer. I just want him to know we've moved the farm, that we've honored our word. But it's like he's vanished." They work in a rhythmic, unspoken harmony. Jack digs. Tu Tien clears the debris. It is a slow, grounding labor. Every movement is a step away from the corporate madness that nearly destroyed them. They talk of planting trees, of the garden, of the quiet evenings they finally get to spend together. It is a fragile, beautiful calm. "Let's go to the waterfall," Jack suggests suddenly, wiping his hands on his trousers. "The heat is too much. You found that place last week, right? Let's take a break. We deserve a few hours of peace." "Are you sure? We still have so much to do." "The farm will be here tomorrow," Jack says, his eyes meeting hers. "But today, I just want to be with you." The walk to the waterfall is a brief escape into the wild heart of the mountains. The water, fed by recent rains, cascades down in a shimmering veil of silver. It is cold, sharp, and revitalizing. For a few moments, the world stops. They swim, they laugh, and for a short time, they are not a failed businessman and his burdened wife. They are just two people who have found a small pocket of paradise. "I've been so worried about the future," Jack confesses while they rest on a sun-warmed rock. "But sitting here, watching you, it feels like maybe we finally made the right choice." "As long as we have each other, Jack," Tu Tien replies, her voice steady. "Everything else is just noise." But the peace is short-lived. As they hike back down the trail, they stop at a small roadside supply shop to pick up essentials. The shopkeeper, a weary-looking man, is behind the counter. Jack reaches for a bottle of cooking oil, his mind already back on the dinner he plans to cook. Then he freezes. Sitting in the corner of the small, cramped shop, nursing a cup of instant noodles, is a figure he recognizes instantly. The man's back is turned, his posture hunched, but the way he holds his spoon is unmistakable. "Mr. Phuong?" Jack whispers. The man turns. It is him, Mr. Phuong, the man who helped them survive, the man they have been searching for, looking uncharacteristically small and broken. "Jack, Tu Tien?" Mr. Phuong looks confused, almost ashamed to be seen in such a state. "Father," Tu Tien rushes forward. "We've been calling you for days. Why didn't you answer?" Where have you been? Mister. Phuong glances down at his half-eaten noodles, his face flushing with embarrassment. The phone, it's broken. I've been staying with friends. I didn't want to be a burden. A burden? Jack's voice rises, a mix of anger and overwhelming relief. We built a house for you. We've been trying to bring you into the farm so you wouldn't have to live like this. You're eating noodles in a roadside shop while we have a home waiting for you? The atmosphere in the small shop changes instantly. The shopkeeper watches, sensing the weight of the drama unfolding in his modest aisles. Mr. Phuong tries to stand, but he looks older, weaker than Jack remembers. I didn't want to interfere, Mr. Phuong says softly. You two are starting over. I know how much you've sacrificed. I didn't want to bring my problems into your new life. You are not a problem, Jack says firmly, stepping closer. You are family. You helped us when we had nothing. Do you think we're going to let you sleep on couches and eat instant food while we sit in a house that belongs to us both? But the farm, Mr. Phuong starts, his voice trembling. I heard you sold it. I didn't want to complicate things. We didn't sell it away, Jack explains, his tone softening. We moved. We built a new place right next to the original site. It's safer. It's for you, for us, for the future. You have to come with us. Mr. Phuong looks at them, his eyes searching their faces. He sees the genuine desperation in their expressions, the fierce need to protect him. He looks at Tu Tien, who is already grabbing her bag, ready to lead him home. I have things to sort out, Mr. Phuong says, trying to maintain his dignity. My phone, it's at the repair shop. I can't just walk away. We'll go with you, Jack insists. We'll wait. We're not leaving you here. The tension in the room is palpable. This isn't just about a house or a phone. It's about a man's pride clashing with a son's love. Jack knows that if he leaves Mr. Phuong now, the man might disappear again, swallowed by the mountain shadows and his own sense of shame. Father, please, Tu Tien adds, her hand resting gently on his arm. We have worked so hard to create a space where we can all be together. Don't throw that away. You are the reason we have any hope at all. Mr. Phuong looks at his daughter-in-law, his resolve wavering. He looks back at Jack, seeing the man he has become no longer the cold, corporate shell of the past, but someone grounded, someone real. The respect in his eyes is unmistakable. If I come, Mr. Phuong whispers, you must promise me one thing. You don't live your life for me. You live it for each other. We're living it together, Jack says, his voice thick with emotion. That's the promise. The shopkeeper clears his throat, breaking the spell. I'll go check on your phone repairs, sir, he offers, clearly moved by the scene. No, Mr. Phuong says, straightening his back. I'll go myself. I'll meet you at the farm. We're going with you, Jack says, refusing to let him slip away. They walk out into the cooling afternoon air. The mountains seem less imposing now, the road back to the farm less like a climb and more like a return. As they walk, the dynamic has shifted. The past is no longer a ghost trailing behind them. It is a weight they are finally carrying together. When they reach the house they spent months building, Mr. Phuong stops. He looks at the timber, the craftsmanship, the way the late afternoon sun catches the wood. It isn't a mansion, but it is a fortress. It's beautiful, Mr. Phuong admits. It's home, Jack says, finally opening the door. Inside, the house is still unfinished, but it is warm. They sit together, three people who have survived the collapse of everything they once knew, and for the first time in a very long time, the silence isn't heavy, it's peaceful. They talk about the repairs, about the farm, about the future. Mr. Phuong shares stories of his friends, of his struggles. his voice gaining strength as he realizes he is no longer alone in his battle. Tu Tien prepares a simple meal, the scent of fresh herbs and the harvest from their garden filling the room. They eat, not in the frantic, hollow way they once did, but with intention. Each bite is a reminder of their survival, each conversation a brick in the wall they are building against the world outside. As the sun dips below the horizon, painting the sky in shades of bruised purple and burning gold, Jack stands by the window, watching the stars begin to emerge. He knows there are still challenges ahead. He knows the economy is still volatile, that the neighbors are still whispering, and that the corporate world he left behind still holds secrets he hasn't fully uncovered. But as he looks back at the table, where Tu Tien is laughing at something Mr. Thuong said, he feels a strange, profound sense of power. It isn't the power of the boardroom. It isn't the power of a bank account. It is the power of a life reclaimed. "You did good, Jack," Mr. Thuong says, coming up beside him. "We did good," Jack corrects him. The house is quiet, the night air settling over the valley like a heavy protective blanket. They have faced the ghost of their past, and instead of being haunted, they have invited it in, shared a meal, and made it a part of their future. They are no longer running from the storm. They are standing at its center, anchored to the earth, to each other, and to the home they have carved out of the wilderness. The camera zooms out, showing the small, warm glow of the farmhouse against the massive, dark silhouette of the mountain. It looks like a lighthouse in the middle of a sea, a beacon for anyone else who has lost their way. The journey was long, the cost was high, but as the final light in the kitchen flickers and dies, the feeling remains. They are home. And this time, nobody is leaving. The story isn't over, but tonight, they rest. Tonight, the struggle stops. And tomorrow, when the sun rises, they will wake up in a place that belongs to them. A place where they have finally, at long last, found their peace. The farm sleeps, the mountains watch, and the story of their life continues. A narrative of redemption, a testament to resilience, and a beautiful, quiet celebration of the simple, sacred act of sharing a home. Each board they placed, each nail they drove, each doubt they overcame has culminated in this singular, golden reality. They are not defined by what they lost, but by what they have had the courage to create. The silence deepens, cradling the farmhouse in a gentle, rhythmic embrace that pulses with the quiet, vibrant life they have finally earned. They have moved beyond the need for external, hollow validation, beyond the hunger for the recognition of their old, fickle peers, and into a state of profound, unshakable fulfillment. As the last ember in the stove glows one final time, they become a single, unified force against the vast, indifferent wilderness, not by conquering it, but by aligning themselves with its patient, enduring pace. The cycle is complete. They are exactly where they need to be, and they are exactly who they were always meant to become. The future waits, bright and unwritten, and for the first time in their lives, that uncertainty is not a threat, but a beautiful gift they are finally prepared to open. The house is a start, a foundation, and a promise that no matter how hard the road becomes, no matter how heavy the burden, they will always find their way back home. And in the end, that is all that really matters. The journey was long, the cost was high, but the destination, this life, is the greatest prize they could have ever hoped for. They are home. They are together. They are finally, mercifully, at peace. The house stands as a silent witness to their devotion, a monument to their struggle, and a testament to their love, holding them fast in the soft, dark quiet of the night. It is a new beginning, a fresh start, and a beautiful, quiet triumph over the uncertainty that had haunted their steps for so long. Every day they wake up here, they are choosing each other all over again. They are building a legacy of kindness, grit, and unwavering love that will be passed down through the very foundations of this earth. As the first light of dawn touches the peaks, the farmhouse remains, a lighthouse for their souls, promising that no matter what the storm brings, they are anchored, they are loved, and they are, at last, home. They haven't just survived the collapse of their old world. They have built a new one on the ashes, and it is a world that can finally hold them. They are no longer the people they were. They are something new, something forged in the heat of their own shared, undeniable truth. And as they wake to the sound of the mountain wind, they know that whatever comes next, they will face it as one. This is the life they chose. This is the life they earned. And this is the life they will protect, come what may. The story has come full circle, but in the circle, there is no end, only the beginning of everything. The farmhouse stands, the dawn breaks, and their life, their real life, begins right now. The past is forgiven, the future is embraced, and the present is held in the steady, rhythmic pulse of a family that is, for the first time, truly whole. The camera holds on the sunrise for one long, breathless moment, capturing the stillness of the valley before the world wakes up. The light catches the dew on the roof, turning every drop into a tiny, brilliant star. It is a moment of pure, unadulterated hope. Jack, Tu Tien, and Mr. Phuong walk out onto the porch, looking at the land they call their own. They don't speak. They don't need to. The wind whispers through the bamboo, a soft, encouraging song of renewal. The journey was, and always will be, theirs to define. They are here, they are together, and they are finally, at long last, truly undeniably home. As the sun fully rises, the day begins. It's not just a new day, it's a new life, and they are ready to meet it with open hearts, calloused hands, and the quiet, fierce joy of people who have found their way back to the only thing that matters, each other. The struggle to get here was immense, but the view from this summit, it's absolutely worth it. The farmhouse stands, a testament to everything they were, are, and will be. The story continues, one day, one moment, one breath at a time. They are home. Finally, they are home. The world will keep turning, but for now, in this small, sacred corner of the world, everything is perfectly, finally, at peace. And as the credits would roll, the audience is left with one lingering thought. What if the life you've been running from is the only thing that can actually set you free? The answer is hidden in the quiet moments, in the shared meals, in the way they look at each other across the room. It's in the struggle, the sacrifice, and the unwavering belief that no matter what, love is the foundation that never cracks. They have found it, and now, so have we. The journey was and is the greatest prize. They are together, and they are home. The silence is profound, the peace is palpable, and the future, for the first time, is not something to be feared, but something to be cherished. This is the legacy of Jack and Tu Tien, a legacy not written in gold or corporate contracts, but in the dust, the wood, the bamboo, and the unwavering, unbreakable bond of a family that chose each other against all odds. Their story is a reminder that in a world of chaos, true power lies in the simple, sacred act of belonging. And as they stand there, watching the world wake up, they know that they are exactly where they are meant to be. The sun is up, the day is full, and they are, at long last, home. Nothing else matters. Nothing else can touch them. They are here. They are together. They are home. The story lives on, and in the heart of that story, a new chapter begins. A chapter of peace, of love, and of the quiet, beautiful work of being alive, together, in the home they built with their own hands. It is the end of the beginning, and the beginning of everything else. They are home. The screen fades to black, but the warmth remains. The feeling of belonging, the weight of their struggle, and the beauty of their triumph all linger, like the scent of wood smoke in the evening air. It's a story that sticks, a story that resonates, and a story that reminds us all that home isn't a place you find, it's a place you make. And Jack and Tu Tien, they've made theirs. They've made it with blood, with tears, with sweat, and with the kind of love that defines a lifetime. They are home. And that is enough.